So, it's 8:23 p.m. on a Friday night. I have my little herbal tea. It's got some lavender, some cacao, and some marshmallow root. So we're feeling real cozy. I turned on my purple light. I've been working all day. I've been outside all day, and I want to relax. So I kind of want to make up a little bedtime story. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but okay, let's give it a shot. Once upon a time, there was a knight named Salim. And Salim came from the kingdom of Sharmabah. Salim was a great guy. He was in his maybe early 30s. He had a girlfriend that he cared about really deeply. He was with her for several years. And they had a newborn baby on the way. But Salim and his family lived in the main gates of the castle. And inside the main gates of the castle was a lot of abundance. The ruling family had a lot of grains and livestock and just, resources so that everybody inside the kingdom gates would be able to, survive. Not just survive, but thrive. And so Salim and his wife had a really, really great life. And then one day, on the 15th of April, Salim was taking his night watch inside the palace when all of a sudden he heard this crash come from the other side of the palace. And that's crazy because this is a big palace. And so for the sound to carry like that, and for people's screams to really carry like that, it must have been something really big. So Salim jolted up from his little chair and ran as fast as he could with his clanking armor across the cobblestone floors, waking everybody as he passed, and ran to the other side of the palace. And when he got to the other side of the palace, the entire hallway was crowded with other knights, with maids, with, the maesters who had just woken up from the middle of their sleep because of this noise. And everybody was freaking out. And Salim went up to his fellow knight and he was like, "What's going on? What's going on?" And the knight fully was like, "Somebody's broken in and kidnapped the little prince." And Salim was so shocked. He didn't know what to do. And so he immediately ran to the other side of the hallway. This little section, the prince's room, had several different entrances. And so Salim ran to the other side to try to see if he could get more information. And lo and behold, the second hallway had this huge stained glass window that had been smashed to pieces. And it wasn't just like somebody had crashed through the stained glass window. They had taken the time to crush every single piece of glass. And this stained glass window was a beautiful mosaic. It was a mosaic of, what was this city called? Sharmabah? It was it was a stained glass painting of the kingdom's flower, which was a primrose. And they had named the little prince after this flower, which was the language, in whatever language that they spoke. And so the kidnappers had taken special care to smash all of the colored parts of the stained glass window, leaving only the plain clear glass. This was interesting, Salim thought, because why would somebody come to kidnap a baby and then take the time to crush a bunch of pieces of glass? And so Salim got access to the princeling's room. And he went inside and he was looking around, and the room had been strewn apart. There were bed sheets everywhere. There was, goblets everywhere. There was cracked marble from, things being pushed over and pulled over. And then by the side of the bed, something caught Salim's eye, something shiny. Right behind the bed lay a little locket. And this locket wasn't anything that Salim had seen before. It certainly didn't belong to the royal family. It certainly didn't belong to anybody. But it carried the mark of the same primrose. But he had never seen it before. He'd never heard of it before. So Salim picked it up, and all of a sudden the locket started vibrating. It started shaking. And then suddenly the locket became white hot, and it turned white as if it had been set on fire. Salim dropped it, only the locket didn't fall to the ground. It remained levitating where his hand had been holding it. And so Salim was like, what the hell, man? What is going on? Suddenly the locket started really vibrating, and it burst open. And inside the locket was a set of instructions. Now, why would a kidnapper kidnap a baby and then leave instructions? Salim thought. He picked open the little parchment that was inside the locket, and inside lay 3 clues. 1, check the 4th stable at midnight. So Salim immediately let all of the knights into the room because it was barred by some chairs and pillars and whatever. And he said immediately, I need 4 of you to go down to the stables and check the 4th stable door and tell me what you find. So the 4 knights ran down to the stable, and they, with their spears, announced themselves loudly. Hey, we're a part of the insert kingdom name here that I forgot. We're a part of this. We're the palace's knights. If anyone is behind this door, announce yourself. One of the knights came close and pushed open the door, and inside he found a golden egg. And so they took the egg back up to Salim, and Salim said, what? Why would they give us a golden egg? Then he looked back at the parchment paper. The second clue said, ask the Queen Mother what she was doing on Thursday night. Now Salim said, T. What was the Queen's mother doing on a Thursday night? And so he didn't send because it would be kind of rude, right? So he took 2 of the knights and went over to the royal rooms, and he knocked on the Queen Mother's door. The Queen Mother opened her door and she said, what is going on? I've been so scared. My grandchild is not here. And Salim said, yes, ma'am, I know. We found this locket, and it said to ask you what you were doing on a Thursday night. And the Queen Mother said, why do you want to know? I certainly do not have to tell you that, peasant. And Salim said, respectfully, I'm not a peasant. I'm here to protect you. So where were you on Thursday night? And the Queen Mother was getting really defensive. I just don't understand. I just don't understand why you need to know. I don't understand. I don't understand how that's relevant. I think you should really be spending more time, trying to protect my grandson. Where's my grandson? And Salim said, ma'am, we will find out this information one way or the other. But I would really like you to tell me. And the Queen Mother all of a sudden got really quiet, and she burst into tears. And she was like, my husband died many years ago, and it's been really lonely being in this castle. And I'm very happy to be the queen mother and support my son. But sometimes, like on Thursday nights, I go downtown to the fun house and I meet my boyfriend. And she didn't say it like this. She said it very hesitantly and like, don't tell anybody, please. And Salim said, girl, I get it. I really understand. But is there any way that your boyfriend could have had a part to play in the kidnapping of your grandson? And she said, how dare you? It's a valid question, ma'am. It's a valid question. No, he wouldn't dare. He's a nice, kind, sweet man. He wouldn't dare. Plus, I pay him a shit ton of money. I keep him in food and in clean clothes and in medicine. Salim said, okay, well, we got to go talk to him. And before we leave, ma'am, this little golden egg, do you recognize this? And the queen mother said, I mean, it looks exactly like one of the illustrations in my like childhood fantasy novels. But no, otherwise no. Salim said, okay, you have a good night, ma'am. You stay indoors. And he left. Salim sent 2 of his men to go question the queen mother's boyfriend and ask him where he was or if he was even home that night. And then Salim looked at the locket once more, or the little parchment from the locket, and looked at the 3rd clue. Surprisingly, the clue said, Salim, go to your own room and look in the mirror. Salim said, absolutely not. Literally, what is going to happen? I am not a part of this at all. Also, how do you know my name? Also, like, I'm not even like the person you need to be. Like, I'm not even a part of the royal family. Like, I am like one of the upper, like I am up there, but like, why am I in it, first of all? And so Salim was like, all right, I'm bringing everybody with me to my room. And so he called the 50 knights. And the 50 knights plus Salim walked to Salim's quarters. Spears at the ready. And they slowly pushed into the room. It was messy, like he had just woken up and ran out of the room. And they creaked open the little bathroom door and walked in. And the mirror was missing. Where could the mirror have gone? And so Salim was like, something's fishy. Something's fishy. And so Salim went back across the hallway because he had a sneaking suspicion. Why would the mirror be missing? And he went back to the hallway that had the stained glass window. And sure enough, there were mirror shards crushed up all over the floor. Salim was more confused than ever. What is going on? I'm tired. Where is this baby? What are we gonna do? Also, like, is this robber still in the building? Suddenly, time froze. And Salim was walking around doing this reminiscing, what's going on? All of a sudden he turns around and everybody is frozen. Salim is like, hello? You guys there? Nobody's moving. Nobody's talking. Nobody's even blinking. Nobody's even breathing. He's like, what the hell is going on? When he turns back to face the stained glass window, all of a sudden it's fixed. There are no more shards of glass on the ground. There are no more crushed up pieces. Salim was very, very confused. And then all of a sudden, this little starts to happen as this little golden egg starts to vibrate against Salim's armor. He pulls it out of his pocket and immediately drops it because it turns white hot. It's just the same kind of white hot as the locket. Salim was getting real freaked out now. What the hell is going on? Am I dreaming? Is everybody okay? And suddenly from the egg burst forth this angel ghost, something, and said, in order to get the baby back, you have to tell us your greatest desire in life. And Salim said, why me? Why am I the one that is so important? What has been going on? Why am I having to deal with all of these things? And the ghost angel said, Salim, you are a time traveler. You are not from this era. In fact, you were the little baby who was kidnapped. Salim was in shock. What? I've literally grown up here. I have a beautiful wife and a newborn baby on the way. What do you mean I am a time traveler who doesn't belong in this era? And the angel ghost lady said, a spell was cast on you when you were a baby because you held a very special power. The power to not be affected by time. And nobody knows how you got this power. You were just born with it. And an evil sorcerer wanted to use that for his own personal gain. But somehow you were able to transport yourself, even as an infant, to save yourself and get away from him. And you've just been transporting all of your life. But the thing is, every time that you transport yourself, you forget. And Salim was like, well, I've been here for 30-something years. And the angel said, it just feels like that, doesn't it? Really? You've been here for about 2 weeks. 2 weeks? How long have I been traveling all over the world for? And she says, you don't have an age. You don't have an age? This story is so crazy. You don't have an age. You don't even have like a physical body. You exist in the in-between, between this realm and my realm, which is why you can talk to me, which is why you found the locket, which is why you found the egg. Those things would not be visible or tangible to anybody else. It's only because you grabbed them, you held them, that they became visible. You are the avatar. No, you are one of the bridges between our world. And it is perhaps your destiny now that you are 30 years old, because you are 30, to be let into this fact, because there are more like you. And we need your help to find them. And Salim said, hold on. I can't just leave my wife. I have a newborn baby. And the angel said, that baby is you. You gave birth to your own baby. Well, wait. You gave birth to yourself. And poof. Oh no. Salim was shell-shocked. But the angel ghost lady said, of course I understand that this is a shock for you. It'd be a shock for anybody. But you are an important member of this community. Therefore, I will give you a choice. You may continue to live your life as you have. I have the power to preserve this version of you in this timeline. So you could live out with your wife and your little baby, or you could come with me and help gather more of the people who live in the in-between, like you. You have 24 hours to decide. And with that, she poofed, and her little wisps of essence went back into the little egg and shattered. And Salim stood there in shock, turned around. All of a sudden, all of his knights were like, "What, Salim, what do we do? What do we do? Where's the baby? What do we do?" And Salim was like, "Baby's gone. We'll send out search parties, and I'll be the first to lead." I don't like that. Let's go back. Poof, the wispy lady disappeared. And Salim was left with a choice. Stay in this world that he was so familiar with, or go on a grand adventure with a ghost lady and a story that he wasn't even fully sure that he could trust. Which will he choose? Part 2, coming later. Good night.